most important thing is that parents realize that they are in partnership with the teacher to facilitate their own children's development. So teachers can't do it all and parents can't do it all, but together, working together, they can do a lot. That means children have to understand why it is they're going to school. They're going to school to learn, to develop skills, to find out what their talents are so that they have a clue what they want to be when they grow up, you know? And so parents need to talk about these ideas with the children. They need to regularly ask their kid, so what do you think you want to be now when you grow up? And let the answer change from week to week to week. But the partnership is a very, very important thing. Parents need to send their kids to school ready to learn. They have to have had food, they have to have had enough sleep, they have to have had enough exercise. They need to be healthy. And after school, kids need some downtime. They've been sitting a lot during the day. They need to run around like maniacs and play and enjoy life and, you know, maybe ride bikes or chase after balls or play tag with kids, but they need to be out and about doing active things. Children have very short attention spans. Parents need to understand how much encouragement they need to give their children to keep them engaged in learning. Parents need to get excited when children come home and say, Mom, penguins have like this belly fluff that they put over their eggs to keep their eggs warm. And the mother needs to say, my goodness, you must be a good listener. You know, a lot of praise for the children attending to things and sharing things and being engaged in school. I think that's a really important key. If parents will show that kind of interest in what their children are learning, their children are going to get more and more excited about being in school. I don't like this notion that we have school and then we have real life. To children, real life is school. Their life is school. And if mom and dad are not involved in finding out about this life in school, there's an awful lot of their children's lives that they're cut off from. This should all be part of the sharing that goes on, hopefully at the dinner table. Children develop as unique individuals. Very important for parents not to compare siblings or to compare a child to a cousin, because some things are going to come easy to your child and some things are going to come hard. And what we need to do is support the effort, not praise them for the grades, not praise them for the products, although you can praise for grades and products, but most of the praise should be for effort. Children are learning a lot of social skills in school. They're learning knowledge, they're learning skills, they're learning dispositions, but a lot of those skills are how to disagree without being disagreeable, how to take turns, how to be persevering. I'm going to keep going even when it's hard. You know, how to organize my stuff, how to find stuff. There's a lot of social skills, and inevitably, therefore, there's a lot of conflict. So when your child comes home and says that he's had a fight with somebody, first remember you're hearing half the story. Second, less important than or more important than the fight is the fact that there are lessons to be learned from this experience. So what was happening before this happened? Like, did you happen to take a sharp pencil and poke him that caused this furious reaction, you know? Or what did you say back? You know, so, and then to try and see, well, what can we learn from this? Now, I am not in the least advocating that parents minimize when their children come home upset about something. You are your child's advocate. And if something happened that is objectionable, you absolutely need to go and talk to the teacher, find out what the teacher saw, how the teacher dealt with it, you know, so that you're all on the same page. The child needs to see this home-school partnership thing happening too, because then the child will value school more. At the end of the day, the first thing after the child's had playtime, or maybe when you see them before they go out to play, the first thing to check is, did the teacher send something home that needs your personal attention? Is there a form to fill out? Is there going to be a field trip that we have a permission slip to sign? Is there an opportunity to buy books? So first, information from the teacher to the parent. If you would look at that, attend to it, and then put it right back in the school bag so it's ready to go the next day, that's the best possible case. Sometimes it's not possible. So you have to have a place in your home where you're going to put school papers so that you don't lose them by the time it's time to send them back to school. The second thing to do is to check homework. And homework falls into two categories. Stuff that's done today for tomorrow, and stuff that's a more long-range assignment. Depending on your child's age, they'll need more or less of your attention to organize the task, to even figure out what's involved in this task, all right, for the long-term things. 3 quick points. Find out how your teacher wants you to contact her or him. So how and when. Try and contact the teacher at least once a month just to keep your finger on the pulse of how your kiddo's doing. A couple of times a year, send in a little card, expressing appreciation. I am so happy when Jeremy came home and told us all about penguins. He wants to be a veterinarian. Thanks for sharing. Or if the children are getting a popcorn party because they've had good behavior and they've earned behavior points, it's the teacher who's providing that party. So thank the teacher for the little things she's doing. Most teachers I know work very hard, really love their children, and do all kinds of special things. And it's nice to get some feedback from the parents. If you can volunteer to help out in the classroom, even if it's just once in the year, you can listen to a kid read, you can work with sight words or spelling words or vocabulary words, you can sit at the computer when somebody's browsing for information, you can monitor a group that's doing a science experiment. Even if you only go in one day the whole year, if that's all you can do, that's better than nothing. And your child will benefit because your child sees that you value school. And the teacher will bless you. If you can go in every week, all the better. Then you can become a regular part of the classroom life, and that's a marvelous thing too, but not everybody can do that, of course. Finally, remember there are a lot of grown-ups that work at your child's school. You've got teachers and administrators and aides and speech therapists and the nurse and the coaches. It's a cast of thousands. And the younger your child is, the more intimidating this is, having so many grown-ups who can all tell this child to do something and he or she has to do it. So it's good to try and find out the names of as many people as possible in your school. I wish schools sent home to parents a whole kind of like, this is our school family, so parents knew. You're never going to know all the grown-ups because student teachers show up for 6 weeks here and 6 weeks there. There's a million grown-ups. They're not going to know the names of everybody. But for you to even be able to understand what your kiddo is telling you about what happened at school that day, if you know that Mrs. Miller is the librarian, or if you know that Mrs. Smith is the lunch lady, it helps you put a context on this thing that your child's telling you, because as we know, little children are not that coherent when they're telling us things. And the more background information we have, the easier it is for us to figure out what they're telling us. So when I sat down this morning and thought, what would be important things to tell parents that teachers want parents to know? Every year of your child's development is precious. So make sure that every year becomes a year to remember.